I can't handle that right now. Ultra Magnus's catchphrase, but coincidentally, what my father said to my mother when she told him she was pregnant with me. But we're here to not delve into my issues, but take a look at Studio Series Commander Class Ultra Magnus. This guy is hard to find, which is why I have to give the most massive shout out to the Robot Scrapyard for hooking me up with this thing. He got in a shipment of them a couple months ago, and I was one of the people he messaged saying, "Hey, I'm getting an Ultra Magnus. You want it?" I'm like, "Yes." So we get to take a look at this beautiful, beautiful city commander. And the first thing anyone probably has to ask is that a white Optimus Prime? Yes, but no, it's not the Earthrise Optimus. It's not freaking Nova Prime. No, Ultra Magnus originally was a remold of the Power Convoy, which was what became Optimus Prime. The trailer is obviously different, and the cab is a different color and works a different way. But this may be my new favorite Transformer I own. Another size comparison is with Siege Ultra Magnus. And I'm right with you there, Dr. Lockdown from however long ago. I still really like Siege Ultra Magnus. I do love the RID homage, and the white Optimus of this is very cool, with kind of giving like an Iron Man armor up vibe. And my other Ultra Magnus, Fall of Cybertron Ultra Frogmas. But this does a different thing entirely. So, Ultra Magnus is a car carrier, hence why he has all this empty space to carry cars. We can flip down these panels, and let's fill him with some cars. I'm going to start with Studio Series G2 Jazz, or you know what this toy is. He goes all the way up there. Who else can we fit? How about Gears? Gears fits just fine. Close it up. And now you have two on the bottom. If you want, you can unhook these sections, ratchet them down, and you have a car you can drive up. So let's only show that. Ah, there goes Jazz. Fit him there. Let's fit Gears. And let's do, I don't know, Wheeljack on top. Yeah. So he can carry along multiple vehicles with his 3 sets of tires. I think you have enough tires, man. I want to take a look inside at all that detail. Let's move these out of the way. Overall, I really like this vehicle. It's fun to play with, and it's just long and impressive. So right now, you would just be able to drive straight. You wouldn't be able to turn. But if you want, you can unhook that or extend it slightly, and you have a bit of a turning axis. Mind you, it makes it a lot easier for the trailer to actually come off. So we just want to leave it locked in like that. We do have accessories, which we have to go back into the box with this very nice piece of artwork of Ultra Magnus in the fight for Autobot City, where Optimus ends up dying. Inside, you do get this, and you get a massive backdrop of, like, is it the Ark? There's a ship right up here. It kind of looks like it would be the Ark, like they were out the back of it. I don't know. Can you fit? You can fit the whole vehicle mode on this backdrop. That's big. So we have a bundle of accessories. Open it up. Get some blast effect parts. You get a smaller gun. We'll talk about more in the robot mode. A bigger gun. Robot mode. But for this mode, we have these pair of missile launchers. And what are missile launchers without missiles? You got these little red warheads. Plug them on. And you need somewhere for them to go. So in vehicle mode, he actually has some weapon storage, I think. That one wanted to fight me a little bit. Yeah. Plug them there. Or, if you want to show the warhead has exploded. Pew! I think these are the same effect parts as somebody else. I can't remember. It does look like kind of Omega Supremes. Just in this kind of dull orange color. The three of these, you can build them up however you want. I'm probably going to forget about them and put them off to the side because I don't care that much about effect parts. But there, you can build a thing that looks like that. A little pine tree of explosion. And have two pieces left over for some reason. I did find weapon storage on these things right here, but this one is compatible with either of these slots on the top of the truck. Well, the only other space I could find for this gun is his ass flap. Doesn't really work well in vehicle mode. It's a thing you can do. Let's talk about this itself, because this may be the most perfect G1 Optimus Prime vehicle mode I've ever seen that doesn't turn into an Optimus Prime. It's got everything you want. The grille right up front. The bumper is now red. The opposite of the silver. The contrast. The shiny, shiny white body. Got the twin smokestacks back there. The gas canisters on either side of the exposed head. That's one of the unfortunate things about this mold. They couldn't figure out a good place to store his head. So it's just kind of sitting right there. And also, those ears, I'll talk about them in robot mode. But I really like this. It's the right shape. It's not too skinny. It's just a perfect cube. Like, it works for me really, really well. The benefit, you can transform him with it attached. Either way. Like, that's some masterpiece level shit right there. Like, it does have the tendency to fall off, which annoyed me quite a bit, but I figured out the workaround, just how to leave it on. It's kind of simple. It's just locked in that position and it won't fall off super easily. But this is a not super difficult transformation. They're just steps that I tend to forget. Like going back from robot to vehicle, like these side panels I tend to forget because they fold up like that. So sometimes I'll be playing with the vehicle and like, oh yeah, I didn't unfold these panels because they hook in right here, and for some reason they really don't like to. Like it just likes to pop back out, or I'll forget to fold in these, which fold like that. I forget to fold them in when I'm folding up the leg. Or these panels right here, I might forget to lock them in because they cover up his thighs. This thing, I have a tendency to forget. Fold down his belt. You can fold these. Ah, there went a piece flying. Where did it go? Right here. Yep, I forgot to do it that time. One of the most pointless transformation steps is the wheels. They go from right there, essentially, to in there. And, like, that's barely anything. At this point, I just stopped using it because I stopped giving a damn about it. Because it really doesn't affect the robot mode whatsoever. Although, you do want to fold them back out in vehicle mode because without it, all the wheels won't touch the ground. They'll be slightly off the ground. And then take the knee, extend it just like that. It's not much, but it does have to shrink a little bit to actually fit with the vehicle mode. Now we can take the arms, separate them, and we'll leave them like that for now. Fold in the back wheels. It's going to be a little bit messy. You want to extend the cab up just a little bit to fold out this piece and then fold it back down so it locks in place. And then you forget to rotate this piece and have to do it over again. Rotate that piece, extend up, fold out, make sure he's still there, and then fold up this, the front, fold in the front wheels, and now you can rotate that around. Take the side panels, fold them out like that, and then into the chest. At the same time, you want to hinge the rest of it back and take this piece, which was covering his face, and fold it back. Now, there we go. Oh, his head popped off the ball joint. Uh-oh. We're fine. Let's pop it back on. At the same time, close this so it locks into place like that. And we want to bring down the chest again. Fold in the smokestacks. Fold the chest so it clamps down, locks into place. And then we can bring these. You want to leave this tiny panel right here before you fold, and keep folding. And here we have Stretch Armstrong mode. And keep folding. Okay, might want to remove the missile launcher. Fold, fold. So it looks like that. Come to this part and plug it in. That's going to keep all that locked in place. Fold the arm up. Another thing I tend to forget, this tiny piece locks everything into place. So fold that around. Fold the arm down so it surrounds itself. Come to the back of the arm. Untab that. And it's going to collapse. And you have an arm done. Now I'm going to take... it doesn't really matter. I like the look like that. So we'll move this one over to this shoulder and plug it in right there. Or actually, looking at it, they might sit a little bit higher up, a little bit better like that. We're going to do all that accordion folding on the other arm. Sometimes this piece doesn't want to let go. But this tabs in right there. Fold, fold, fold. Fold. Lock in. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Collapse. And now you have an Ultra Magnus. Let's give him his other shoulder missile. And that was not a hard transformation. Like, it is surprisingly easy to convert him into this gorgeous looking robot mode. Like, that is fun. Like, it's not intuitive at first, but it's fairly easy to get a handle on it. And honestly, this is just the perfect, maybe the perfect Ultra Magnus. Like, look at that head sculpt. Like, that is one of the best head sculpts of all time. Like, light piping! It's amazing that it goes in clear, and yet his eyes get picked out in that light blue and look like he's wearing cop shades, which makes sense. City commander and all that. I was talking about the ears, and wow, they're giving me a little bit more heart. Yeah, there you go. They come off. They're packaged as an accessory in the box. And I am not a fan of Ultra Magnus without his ears. It looks like Kamen Rider Decade without the cards, or Ultraman Zero once he removes his Zero Slugger. It just looks slightly wrong. His head looks slightly squished. It almost looks like a reflector head. Like the Siege reflectors. Almost looks like a swim cap. And they have a tendency to pop off while I'm transforming him. Not so much anymore. I think they've submitted to my will. But for the first few, I want to say, weeks of owning this guy, they would just pop off if I breathed on them wrong. But you put them back on, and that just looks right. Although without the light piping, his eyes look kind of. Without the light piping, his eyes do look kind of dead, which is appropriate given in the movie he also dies at the hands of Galvatron. But the Autobots are able to save him, and with the help of the Junkions, they put him back together again. Which leads to possibly my favorite gimmick of this toy. It might not have been obvious during the transformation, but if you look at that suspicious looking thing right there, yes, you can recreate the movie scene where he dies. And I have checked. Unfortunately, they're not Combiner Wars compatible. They look like it. The port definitely looks like it. But no, even a glance at TF Wiki says no, they're not Combiner Wars compatible. But the legs also have the same mechanism. So you can freaking just have an Ultra Magnus torso. Which is absolutely hilarious. And unlike Optimus Prime, who stayed dead for at least a season or something, yeah, he came back before the movie was over. Like, we can't kill off two main Autobots, especially one who just debuted in said film. I love this. It's like Cup, but better and also slightly worse because his limbs aren't compatible with anything, unlike Cup's. Let's reattach his stuff because we can talk articulation. Being a commander class, it's mostly ratchets, which is fun. That one goes there. Okay. That one goes there. Okay. Articulation. Head is on a ball joint. That's also on a hinge, so we can look all the way up. Even though most Autobots can't fly on their own power. It can swivel, can look all the way around. Very nice. Shoulders. Ratchet. All the way around. Outwards. They go right there. They just barely miss his head for a T-pose. Now, a lot of the complaints online when this guy was announced were, oh, the shoulders look too big, they look too wide. And sure, I could see it given the product shots, but having him in hand for a few months, they really don't. Like, not only do they not look way too wide, they're necessary to not only get the vehicle mode proper, but a good amount of articulation in the shoulders. Like, you wouldn't be able to do that without that much bulk there. And also, it just looks cool having such a massive shoulder line. Like, he looks like he can bear the weight of being second in command to Rodimus Prime. Can't quite bear the Matrix, though. Waist is not ratcheted. The bicep swivel is not ratcheted. The elbow ratcheted 90 degrees. Ugh, a bit tight. It still suffices. Wrist, I think it's on a swivel. It's not on a ball joint. But he does have finger articulation. A little bit hard to get at. He's got two knuckles on his pointer finger and one hinge for his other fingers and nothing on the thumb. So they can go out. They can look kind of bad. Don't really look great for articulated fingers. The pointer finger, he can do a decent point. Looks kind of curved, and it's okay. Not the best posable hand. Does have a port sculpted in his hand. Hips. We've got hips. They're on the lightest ratchets. Outwards, no ratchet. You can go all the way out. Backwards. Yep. Thigh swivel makes sense given the connection there. Thigh swivel makes sense given the connection right there. Although it does start to unclip itself if you go out of this range. Knee. You got a double jointed knee. And they're both ratcheted, but you really don't get more than like 91 degrees. Still, it works. Ankle is unfortunate, and this seems to be a problem with a lot of modern Magnuses. He has about that much ankle tilt and nothing forward and backwards. I get you probably don't want to mess with the design, but I really wish he had more foot articulation at all. It's really the only unfortunate part on this design. I also have a couple tiny nitpicks. I've addressed the ears, but without these little red support things, this doesn't really tab in securely. It's like, so like, I don't know, is that trapezius muscle? That muscle is doing 90% of the locking in his arms, and I appreciate it. I think that's it for the robot. We do have some gimmicks besides a gun. This was, I believe, the first gun he used in the movie. No. Oh, God. He used this gun to fight Galvatron. This is his more iconic gun that he's displayed with all the time. It fits in his hand securely. I never thought of Ultra Magnus with twin blasters. Like I guess it looks cool. It kind of looks like a longer barreled version of Bumblebee's gun, or like the guns that Studio Series Ratchet and Ironhide come with. Like although those are like cobalt blue, and this one's like a kind of generic silver. And it's very obvious it's just painted because of the translucent barrel. There is a tab right there, which I imagine could have tabbed in somewhere on the vehicle mode. Maybe? I guess it could have pegged in right there. Oh, that's inside the... No. Let's see. Does it fit on the outside? Don't think so. At least it doesn't feel like it. No. Oh well. Next time I transform it, I'll try and find spots in the vehicle mode for it. Oh, and the big one also has the same thing. There's probably weapon storage in the vehicle mode that I didn't check out. But I love how much the cab inverts and switches color to almost entirely disappear into the robot mode. Like, that is a really cool way to transform an Optimus Prime truck mode and almost entirely make it invisible. But he does have one gimmick from Optimus Prime. Open this up, and you have a matrix chamber with said matrix of leadership, which also, these are spring loaded. That's cool. It's a little hard to get out of there. Try and fish it out, and out of the package, it's upside down. It still fits technically. It's just for some reason upside down. I don't know why they packaged it like that. There, yeah. Spring-loaded Matrix gimmick. It should be press a button and the Matrix just goes flying out. It's the same Matrix that we've seen for many years now. Packaged with Optimus, Rodimus, the one on the chain that comes with Galvatron. He can't really hold it any other way than just palming it and kind of feeding it through his thumb. Which technically, I think that's how he held it at least once in the movie. Other than him trying to open it and failing. Which this toy would fail just as well. Plug it back into his chest. And we will move on to our final size comparisons. Here he is with Optimus. This thing is inside that chest. FOC Magnus, the man who killed him. Galvatron. One of the men who put him back together again. The Knights of the Round Table? Nah, it's Rekgar. Somebody who apparently is his mortal enemy, not named Six Shot. Cyclonus. More specifically, the Generation Selects version. And it's not us, Hot Rod. It's you. The man who actually took up the Matrix. Last, but certainly not least, Siege Ultra Magnus. Wait a second. Ultra Magnus. Super Mode! That's better. Now, I still love this guy. He's really cool. But I also think this guy is awesome. Like the engineering it takes just for this guy to do what he does. It blows me away. It really does. Like I never thought you would get this kind of transformation off anything cheaper than Masterpiece. Like the only other time I've seen Ultra Magnus do the truck cab to the full super robot, I think was Combiner Wars, which I never got my hands on. People seem to really like. Was the Combiner Wars Titan Return one of them? The Prime Wars trilogy with the little dude who's not a headmaster but is part of Ultra Magnus because that version of Magnus also died in the story, but Minimus Ambus used him like a tauntaun. It's the best way I can describe it. But this guy is just, he feels good. Both of his modes look really awesome, have really cool features, and he's just fun to play with. Like generally. I never thought you would put the detachable limb gimmick on an Ultra Magnus. Like that is just a cherry on top kind of feature that I laugh at every single time I do it. But I still think if you want the white Optimus that wears it like power armor, either this version or maybe the shattered glass version still hold up, I think. Much better than the Kingdom one. If the Kingdom one isn't from the shattered glass mold. I meant that the other way around. And we still have other Ultra Magnus designs if that's what you fancy. So excited for August of next year. At this point, about 14 months away from the RID one getting released. This guy, he just makes me happy in a way I didn't expect to when I got him. Like I was dead set on RID Magnus is the Magnus for me. Until I got a chance to hold this guy and was like, okay, he's really, really cool. How many ways can I say the same thing over and over again? You should get one. Ignore the crappy angles. He's worth it all the way around. Other than that, if you can find him for less than I imagine the scalpers are charging, like find a reputable dealer like the Robot Scrapyard. Who knows? He might not have sold all of them. He might have kept some for one for himself and some to sell at conventions and whatnot. You never know. Or find your local equivalent. But Magnus deserves love. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Oh boy. That was a mammoth task. There's a version of Ultra Magnus that's a mammoth. Ultra Mammoth. Now that I've said that out loud, I kind of want that. Keep it weird. Bye.